New Yorkers are as mad as hell. And we're not going to take it anymore. Hi, I'm Carl Paladino, and I'm mad as hell. Yes, we are mad as hell. I am angry, and I'm mad as hell.
Well, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
And now, a brief history, a very brief visual history of iconic 1990s-era American urban street art, and why I think we cannot understand the phenomenon of angry, angry, angry Carl Paladino without it. Can we dim the lights, please? Okay, yeah. Can we dim the lights, please? Thank you. Can we have the first slide, please? It's labeled Twist. For people like me who grew up in California, our iconic visual street art included artists like Twist. Other San Francisco icons, next slide please, include the famously oddly wistful horses painted by Reminisce, particularly stark in black and white when viewed in a sea of multicolored gang tags. Next slide. New York City's iconic 90s street art was, of course, very much inflected by subway graffiti styles, like these classics from the world-famous Is the Wiz. Is the Wiz died last June, prompting major obituaries not only in the art press but in New York newspapers. Next slide, please. But if in the 1990s you weren't in the two most urbanized areas in the U.S., you weren't in New York City or San Francisco, if you were anywhere in the U.S., even in the burbs, you probably came across this. Shepard Fairey's Andre the Giant Has a Posse. It was everywhere, right? At least everywhere anyone skateboarded. And as Mr. Fairey morphed it into other icons, it only became more nationally ubiquitous. You want to know why the Obama Hope poster had such a powerful resonance with anyone anywhere remotely near my age group? It's in part because we all had Shepard Fairey's art in our veins already, way before we'd ever heard of a politician named Barack Obama. Okay, last slide, please. In the category of nearly ubiquitous iconic 1990s-era American urban street art, art that was so iconic and so ubiquitous it doesn't even really count as urban anymore because it turned up everywhere, you also have to include Bob Dobbs. Bob Dobbs, the icon of the Church of Subgenius, which itself is a subject for another day. But admit it, you have seen this guy's face stickered or stenciled somewhere, haven't you? Or on a T-shirt or something? Okay, we can bring the lights back up now. Bob Dobbs and the Church of the Subgenius, certainly in the top tier of nearly ubiquitous, iconic 1990s-era American urban street art. All right? Now, back to Carl Paladino. I'm telling you, I think I have finally figured this out. Carl Paladino is the Republican nominee for governor of New York, who I think maybe isn't running a campaign, who I think is maybe doing an art project. Here's my evidence. First, the one thing voters mostly knew about him before he was chosen to be the gubernatorial nominee was the super racist videos and pictures and hardcore pornography that he emailed out, none of which he denies. Second, his first campaign act once he got the Republican nomination was sending out a campaign mailer that I am not allowed to take out of the UPS mailer that they sent it to us in because it is scented with trash. Third, one of his official platforms is a proposal to send welfare recipients to renovated prisons. The revelation this week that at least 4 of his campaign aides either have criminal records or are accused of criminal behavior also didn't help things. His campaign manager owes thousands in federal taxes. One of his political strategists is accused of stealing $1 million from Michael Bloomberg. And his driver served jail time for missing a court hearing. A court hearing on charges of driving under the influence and a hit and run on a suspended license. That's Carl Paladino's driver, a guy with a DUI and a hit and run, his driver. And then there's Carl Paladino's out-of-the-blue assertion that his opponent had an extramarital affair. On Wednesday, Carl said to Politico.com, quote, "Has anybody asked Andrew Cuomo about his paramours when he was married? Has anybody ever done that?" To Newsday, the Long Island newspaper, Mr. Paladino said, "Do we know what caused Cuomo to break up with his wife? These are the questions the public wants to know." Asked by the New York Post on Wednesday if he had any evidence to back up these accusations about Andrew Cuomo having paramours, Mr. Paladino said, "Of course I do. You'll get it at the appropriate time." Then today, Mr. Paladino denied any of that ever happened, telling the Buffalo News, "It's not that I was accusing him." Dude, yes, you were. Then before that bizarre statement could even sink in, Carl Paladino was back to insisting that he is accusing that guy, and there's evidence maybe coming. Maybe? Dunno.
We will, at the appropriate time, say whatever we have in our box at the appropriate time. Yes.
So you're not backing off that allegation. It is, you do believe that Andrew Cuomo has had or did have extramarital affairs when he was married.
What I believe and what is factual out there, we will, at the appropriate time, put out. Yes.
In our box. Does this make any sense? No, this does not make any sense. None of this makes any sense. Then on top of all of that, Carl Paladino, for good measure, for just the pure artistic and surreal joy of it all, Carl Paladino has inexplicably started denying that he ever had an affair outside his marriage. Why do we care? Only because it's so weird, because Carl Paladino has long admitted to fathering a now 10-year-old daughter outside of his marriage.
What affairs has he had? Obviously, I haven't had any.
Obviously, I haven't, because the now 10-year-old daughter you had with another woman while you were married is Jesus or something? I find it impossible to believe that these are gaffes, that these are errors committed by an actual candidate, a real, well-meaning candidate. It's not possible. My brain cannot expand far enough to account for a politician this bad. Instead, I choose to believe that Carl Paladino is an art project. My proof is here. There is a tagline that goes along with Bob Dobbs, with the iconic 90s street art stenciled guy with the pipe smiling at you. What is the tagline that gets into your subconsciousness for Bob Dobbs of the Church of the Subgenius? It's, "I'm mad too, Bob." And what's on Carl Paladino's lawn sign? "I'm mad too, Carl." I'm telling you, this is an art project. Carl Paladino is not yet a stencil on a skate park, but he will be, and when he is, it will be so for years and years and years. He will be.